it's also about that just making the RCB fan army a strong bond. This is me as an RCB fan, and what I do here, I'm just another fan.
How did you deal with the redirection?
See, chasing a dream is good. You have a dream. For you to see the dream, you got to sleep, and for you to achieve, you got to wake up. And when you have enough sleep, your mind starts working better, your body starts responding better, and you probably are you get one step closer every time you hit or you step into the ring to go ahead and fight for it. Current generation kids, right? So the attention span is very, very little. That means they get bored quite soon.
What would be a message to the Gen Zers?
I think I still have a lot of age to cover before I start handing out messaging to people, especially the young ones.
Hello everyone, I'm Reshma and welcome back to another interesting episode of the Aam Aadmi Podcast Season 2. Today we have an Aam Aadmi here with us, a talented person who's very passionate about cricket, an avid traveler, a biker, a person who loves driving, and now an actor. Welcome Arjun to the Aam Aadmi Podcast Season 2.
Thank you, Reshma. That was quite a mouthful of introduction about me. Thank you so much for that. So hopefully by the end of this show, I can just actually stand up to what you've introduced me for. But yeah, thank you very much. I'm very glad to be here. Really appreciate the welcome.
Okay, Arjun, we know a little about yourself, but our viewers also would love to know what you do, what you are, and what you currently pursue. Yes, so could you tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, where do I start? So I'm from I was born in a very small town called Mandya. It's about 100 kilometers from Bangalore. So that's where my mother is from. So I was born in Mandya, and then when I think I was about 3 years old, we moved to Bangalore. So I've lived in the city ever since. So practically a Bangalore guy, and I'm an MBA grad who's been working for the last 17 years now in the corporate sector. So I've done various roles in the last 17 years within multiple companies that I worked with. And I currently work with an IT sector, one of the IT manufacturers in the world. And then after, that's pretty much about my work life as such. I'm married. I have a daughter. We all live together. Me, my parents, everybody here. We all are here in Bengaluru. I have one younger brother. This is about my family. I think that's pretty much about me, right? So you pretty much gave a heads up about what I love at the beginning of this call. So.
Yes.
So that's a quick glimpse about me, Reshma.
I mean, it's nice to know you, Arjun, and it's really a good platform for us to meet virtually like this, and we can't wait to know more about you. Okay, Arjun, so tell us how your passion for cricket began.
That's an interesting question. I think so. You should promise me that you won't laugh about it. I became a cricketer accidentally, if you would believe me.
Oh.
So yes, of course, as a kid in India, every kid loves cricket, right? If you're a boy, especially, yeah, of course, a lot of girls love it too, women love it too. But as a boy, it's a default sport that a lot of boys do love. Growing up, I was one of those boys as well, where I would just be waiting for one of my friends. I used to be one of those kids who used to sit at the dugout and pray to the God that this guy gets out so I can go and bat next, right? The gully cricket. So I used to be one of those kids. So as one of those kids, I start growing up, and then other than cricket, how do I put it across at a professional level? When I say professional, not something that you get paid for, but when you represent your team or your school at a school level or a taluk level or a district level, even state level, I was indulged in other sports. Growing up, I played some Coco, some athletics basically. I played some Coco, did a bit of running, marathoning and stuff. And then followed by that, I used to play volleyball and then some football and basketball. And all these before cricket and also martial arts. And then one day, I think, if I'm not, I think I was in class 9 or class 10. I can't remember exactly, Reshma. I think it was in between one of these, right? Because I remember it was 98 or 99. What happened was we just finished wrapping up our volleyball practice because we had a district level tournament coming up for inter-school tournaments. And then I was wrapping up, and then we had our cricket team that was practicing for one of the school cups, which was, I think, about a month around the corner. So our physical education teacher in the school that I was studying in, so he just saw all the current bowlers who were actually bowling in the nets, they were exhausted. And there were still a couple of
Okay.
batsmen left to get some practice on. Now, I'm a
Okay.
tall bloke. I used to be a tall kid. I'm still tall. I'm over 6 feet. And
Wow.
so in class 10, you can imagine. So I was one of those lean, tall, skeleton-looking kid.
Yes.
So my physical education teacher default said, "Hey, you know what? Hey, Arjun, come here." I said, "Yes, sir. You know what? Pick up the ball." So the usual uh, the conception was, okay, you're tall, that means you can bowl a fast ball, right? So that's, you see, most of the bowlers are usually tall, if not everyone. So
Okay.
why don't you go and bowl? I just told him, sir, I've never held a cricket ball, a proper stitched cricket ball in my life. So
Huh.
tennis ball is different that I can, but leather ball I
Hmm.
really can't. It's like, hey, nothing. He gave me a quick crash course about it. It's like, hey, you take the ball, you see the stitching in between, that's called seam. You just hold it. All you have to do is you
Hmm.
get a grip in between here, across your webbing, till the tip of your
Okay.
finger. All you have to do is just go, just how you bowl your tennis ball. All you have to just take a run up, just ensure you have a steady run up, come, don't break the rhythm,
Hmm.
come and just roll your arm. You pitch it,
Hmm.
and that's called bowling. Sounds very easy and also fancy because it's actual cricket ball. And for
I
the
know, right?
final yeah, for the first
Yeah.
time I was quite excited. Okay, it's quite hard because I'd never even seen a cricket ball in real in my entire life until then. I'd only seen it on
Oh,
television as growing up, right? So it was only tennis
yeah.
ball, tennis ball, tennis ball. And
Yes.
then I bowled, and you won't believe, my first over was one of the best overs you can see. I have bowled 6 wides. The first 6 balls I
Whoa.
bowled all wides. Like, I'm talking about seventh, eighth stump wide, Reshma. Not like just right after the wicket and so on. So it was that kind of a wide, unfortunately. But then he came down, and I think one of the batsmen who was playing as well, he just came and said, "Hey, you know what, dude? Do this. So what you're doing is
Hmm.
you're not gripping it right. You're not releasing it in the right position and
Huh.
stuff. You got to bend down, and so just little more crash course. And the next 6 deliveries which I bowled after the second crash course, that
Hmm.
came out much better. I wouldn't say superb, but
Hmm.
much better than the 6 wides that I did. And
Hmm.
that became benchmark for my physical education teacher to get me in as a backup cricket player as well, especially a
Hmm.
bowler into the school cricket team. So that's
Okay.
when the
Okay.
love for the actual cricket started
Cricket.
from there on,
Okay.
Reshma. Because I
Oh.
never expected that I'll be playing a leather ball cricket in my entire life, because I never dreamt of, because I was so involved in the other sports, as I said, right? Athletics, coco. I was
Hmm.
practicing martial arts at the time. I think that was my third year in karate. I was close to the
Hmm.
black belt at the times, and then I used to play football. I used to play volleyball, and I used to play
Hmm.
basketball at the time for some time as well. So it was fun. But then I think cricket somehow caught me. It just held me close and made me fall in love with it. And I think that love didn't stop after.
Wow. But let me tell you, Arjun, you are an all-rounder. You said uh, you said basketball, martial arts, cricket, football.
Yeah, actually, I mean, but there is
Wow.
there is actually another reason behind it, to be honest. Because the reason why,
Okay.
I mean, see, I'm not too proud about it, because you can't. There's a saying, right? You can't be jack of all, master of none. There's a saying,
Yes.
right? So the reason why I did a lot of things, because as a kid I had some medical problems. As a kid growing
Mm-hmm.
up, I had some medical issues where I was not
Mm.
allowed to play any outdoor sport because I had a problem with my vision. I had
Okay.
a few surgeries in my life, and by the
Mm-hmm.
time I got to my class 7, I had my final surgery, and I was told, wait for another 6 months, then you're good to go.
Oh.
So until
Okay.
class 7, I pretty much haven't played much sport at all. I mean, not many sports at all,
Mm-hmm.
because as a kid I couldn't step outside. Even in school
Okay.
days, when the entire school was in the auditorium praying, I used to be inside the classroom praying along with them. So I never could stand under the sun, never could go out in the
Oh.
sun. So that was a
Okay.
problem that I had. So that's why
Mm-hmm.
you can, I mean, more than all rounder, I think I just wanted to compensate for what I lost as I was a kid growing up. So
Exactly.
that's why I
Yeah.
just got myself involved in so many things. And eventually, it's a thing that you just say to yourself, "Hey, you know what, you're not regretting it." So I just wanted
Mm.
to do it, tried it, tested it, did it, had some sort of a satisfaction to a level, and
Great.
then just continue on. So that's the quick one about it, Reshma.
That's great. Such a, I mean, I'm sure you would have just gone back to your childhood days if,
Oh yeah,
you know.
quite nostalgic, to be honest. Yeah.
Exactly, nostalgic. So, Arjun, what do you think stood in the way of your entering the national cricket team?
I think eventualness, I could just put it across. Just to give you a brief
Okay.
about it. See, getting into a national team, forget about national team, even into a state team it's a tough job. And
Mm-hmm.
during the early years, right? And I'm talking about because I used to play some sort of a good amount of cricket at
Mm-hmm.
a professional level pre IPL. So pre IPL, it was a different era of cricket altogether, as you might be aware.
Okay.
So it
Okay.
was not because cricket was not the most fanciest sport, but it was the most loved
Mm-hmm.
sport, of course, because Indians, we had our own reasons to love the sport to the core, right, to the bottom of from the bottom of our heart. But then, if at
Mm-hmm.
all, if I have to consider that point as to why I couldn't make it, maybe I think I wasn't cut out for it because I had my
Mm-hmm.
setbacks in a couple of areas where I think I did not pay 100% attention in certain areas, probably led to my roadblock of me hitting a roadblock where I could not
Okay.
make it to the national squad, Reshma.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would like to just answer that at the
Mm.
moment, just that.
So we know that there is some sort of connection that you have with Royal Challengers Bangalore. So it's like in
Oh
a,
yeah.
say for example, like in a marriage, we need to be faithful to the spouses, and you can't break the cord as you wish. So is this how your loyalty to RCB is? How would you describe your association with the Royal Challengers Bangalore?
So I think I mean that's a great leading example to start with, Reshma. I think that's one way to put it across. Yeah, you got to be faithful to your partner. I think, see, that's where the difference lies, right? So there's a difference between faithfulness and loyalty, right? Being faithful and
Yes,
loyalty are two different things. Faithful is
exactly.
something where you don't cheat no matter what.
Right.
The faithfulness is for your parents, it's for your family, sometimes some of your friends and stuff, right? And some people to their work and certain people to their things. For example,
Yes.
an Apple phone user is very faithful to Apple phone. An Apple
Hmm.
users, right? An Apple user always claims, you know what, once you're an Apple user, you can't go back. So
Right.
just an example. So I have nothing to
Yeah.
take away from that. It's a beautiful. I have one, so not
Okay.
that I'm against it. So they say it, right? So I think loyalty is a part of faithfulness, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back to the
Mm-hmm.
actual question, what's my connection with RCB? I think just the same connection as every RCB fan out there. It's just that I think the first connection started because the name Bangalore is a part of it,
Mm. Yes.
because Royal Challengers Bangalore. So I think default it brings a connection, especially when you lived more than 30 years of your life in the city. You've loved every part of it. So RCB connection goes quite deep because we also have our own fan page. So one of my friends, a good friend called Alan Abhishek, he
Okay.
founded something called RCB Fan Army in the year 2009,
Mm.
and
Mm-hmm.
we have over almost close to about a million followers across all social media platforms put together. So we do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of campaigning along with RCB and for the fans. So we do meetups, we have common ground discussions about what can be done. We are part of the RCB events. If at all, if RCB needs some of the fan activities, we are one of the people that they do call. And along with
Okay.
that, we also run a lot of quiz competitions. We also organize
Mm.
matches to go away and watch. We did, I think,
Oh wow.
2019, we did go to Chennai. First match of the IPL, Chennai versus RCB.
Oh,
93 of us traveled from Bengaluru to Chennai,
Chennai.
and
Okay.
and it was one wild, I think, trip. I would say the reason, I'll tell you what, right? So first of all, we booked a KSRTC bus. Okay, a
Okay. Mm.
KSRTC bus to start with, 93 people, right? Some of the people, they decided to come on their own as well. So for the people
Mm-hmm.
who wanted to travel together, first we booked the KSRTC bus. Second,
Okay.
the entire bus was decorated with RCB flag. Okay, and number three, the moment it crossed the border, the RCB
uh,
chants began. So we are talking about from the border until the
mm-hmm.
hotel room near Chepauk, where we had booked the rooms for the people who wanted the accommodation and stuff. The
Mm.
RCB versus CSK chants never stopped because there were a lot of people who joined us along. There were screams of
Okay.
CSK, there were screams of RCB all along. That was one fun of a ride. And then amongst thousands and thousands of people of LOC that was present in Chepauk, if you
Mm.
ever get a chance, just go back and revisit the match. I think that happened on March 24th, 2019. I think that was the match date. There was
Okay.
just a small tiny bit of red that's seen in middle of
Okay.
this yellow sea. About 93 people just standing there and cheering for RCB. About 93 people
Hmm.
standing together. So there were a lot of stares. There were a lot of shouts that we got, that our team got while everybody was walking to the ground from the stadium and stuff. So we do some of these crazy activities as well. And
Hmm.
the other thing also is that we also love social causes. We've done quite a few as well.
Hmm.
We've done some. We've collected and we've been part of some of the donations to orphanages, and we've done blood donation camps. And we also joined with one of the bodies where we took the in charge of cleaning the entire stadium, Chinnaswamy
Hmm.
Stadium as well, along with the waste management system that was. And we also are planning. We were planning for something this year. Unfortunately, it couldn't happen thanks to COVID. So hopefully, in the upcoming
Okay.
season, we can do something. And also
Hmm.
for the fans out there, because it's not just about activities, not about gatherings, right? We want them to have fun as well. We
Yes.
also conduct the cricket tournaments for the RCB fans. So once a year,
Oh,
we get in people to enroll themselves to come in. There are no
okay.
pre-qualified teams. There is no pre-qualified player. Everybody comes to the ground. We form teams
Okay.
there. We make you meet newbies. I mean, you have no clue whom you're going to be paired with, right? It's all in random that we do, right? I mean,
Hmm.
three or four of us, we
Yeah.
take the in charge of just creating the teams, making up the ties of the tournament and stuff. It's usually 1 or 2 days tournament. That's a tennis ball. And then that's
Okay.
one way you can network with people, you meet new folks, you understand what the other person is all about, you understand what are the strengths and weaknesses of the individual, and where you can teach him or her, or where you can learn from him or her when you meet the new people. It's not about just playing, not just about having fun. It's about connecting. It's about networking, and it's also about that just making the RCB fan army a strong bond,
Yes.
much better, to be honest.
Yeah.
So this is me as an RCB fan, and what I do here, I'm just another fan as anybody else
Okay.
in the group.
Great. So, Arjun, you mentioned something. I think you mentioned tennis ball. What is that?
Yes,
Like you? So you're saying that the tournament you all play with tennis ball?
tennis ball. So the same ball that's used for
Oh,
tennis, right? So you have different ones. You have
but
something
why
called
not?
Wilson. You
Why
have
not? Why not the cricket ball? The
that's where the
actual.
problem is. Here we let me tell you why we don't do it. As I said, we have lakhs of followers across, right? And the invite goes
Okay.
for all, and we
Okay.
do it in Bengaluru. So people who can come in, and every time we run a tournament, we have at least about 100 people coming in. I'm talking about a
Hmm.
bare minimum of people who come to participate in the tournament.
Oh, okay.
Organizing a tournament, and we want to, because running a tournament, for that it needs a complete professional environment where the
Yeah.
people who come in also need to know how to play leather ball, because playing a
Mm-hmm.
tennis ball and playing a cricket ball are two different things. It's not the same.
Oh,
So that's
okay.
where it is. The technique is different, the timing is
Okay.
different, and the way you play, because you need to wear your gear, you will have your pads on, your
Mm-hmm.
helmets on, you have your bat, your
Mm.
gloves, and everything. With that, you need to run around, you need to know how to field, and then you have the ball that's quite hard as compared to a tennis ball. That's the reason why
Right.
we want to keep it fun. So that way, nobody gets
Okay.
hurt, and
Mm.
people who probably haven't played leather ball in their life, they come and they don't just we don't want them to go back disappointed. So
Mm-hmm. Got
everybody's
it.
involved, everybody is welcome, and everybody can get to play somewhere. Point we
That's
do it
great
here.
that it's like you for every cricket lover you
Yes,
give a space to to
correct.
participate and
Absolutely,
have fun with cricket.
absolutely.
Arjun, we all know the glorious side of the cricket career once it takes off, but we hardly hear about the early stages in the training and the selection process. Yeah. So, how difficult was it for you chasing a future in cricket with no guarantees? And when you had to put that pursuit to rest, how did you deal with the redirection?
Good question actually. So I think this can't be an easy question to answer, and you probably
Hmm.
won't get an easy answer to dissect either. So I'll try and
Okay.
be as simple as possible, right? So yeah, see, chasing a dream is good. And there is a saying, so I don't know if you know this, wellness, health and wellness. So people think wellness is
Hmm.
nothing but health. No, actually, health is part of wellness. And in
Okay.
one of them, there are about 8 parameters that they measure, and one of them is sleep. They say you
Hmm.
need to get enough amount of sleep, which is basically a minimum of 6 to 7 hours of sleep, right? And I was just
Right.
giving this presentation to one of the people, and I just thought, okay, I think this makes sense, right? You got to sleep the
Hmm.
enough amount of hours in your life. The reason, because there is a dream that you want to wake up to, which you want to achieve.
Hmm.
You have a dream. For you to see
Hmm.
the dream, you got to sleep, and for you to achieve, you got to wake up. And when you have enough sleep, your mind starts working better, your body starts responding better, and you probably are you get one step closer every time you hit or you step into the ring to go ahead and fight for it, right? So,
Wow.
which is by the way, that's my own line, by the way.
That is great. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yes, actually, it makes sense, right? Thank you. See, the toughest part is it's not sustaining, right? I mean, the toughest part is
Yeah.
it's actually not sustaining. It's the starting, it's the beginning. Because as
Yes.
kids, when you start as a kid, right, a kid usually has a lot of energy in him or her. Usually, I'm talking about the age group of about under 15 years old, right? Usually, these are the
Mm.
kids that they're quite hyper, they're very energetic and stuff. The only problem is they're so focused, like engrossed. Okay, you know what? Study, 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 study. Because
Mm.
I was just seeing it one of the movies. I can't remember which cinema was that. They say you
Mm.
put your son or your daughter through multiple things, like for example myself, right? You put them through musical classes, dance classes, that this that, but the
Yes.
moment they come to class 10, you cut them off from everything
True.
because you want them to just study and
Right.
study, because you want them to prepare for their next level, which is the college, class 11 and above, right? That's
I'm
where the
sure
problem lies.
we have experienced that, right, while growing
I
up.
I, I was be-
Even I
I
have
was beaten.
experienced.
I used to get beaten up by my parents. I lived
Oh
in a
my.
house where my mother used to be a school principal. My mother is a school retired
Oh,
principal now. My mother was a school principal. My dad worked in
okay.
Bangalore University for 38 years. So both of them has seen thousands
Yeah.
and thousands, of plethora, Pandora of kids in front of them. So technically, practically I
Mm.
couldn't even lie to them. The moment I lied
Okay.
something to my mom or my dad, they're like, "Hey, we've seen 1,000 kids like you. We know you're lying. Don't lie." So they usually catch hold of me. They used to catch hold of me like that, right? So that's the kind of environment I grew up in, right?
Yeah.
And it happened with me as well, because my parents were like so engrossed, like, you know what, study, study,
Mm.
study. So we practically experienced. So that's where the problem lies. If you want to get them, I think
Yeah.
a bit of support is needed from the parents as well. Get them to start early, quite
Mm.
early. I'm talking about at the age of 6, right, which is usually a good age to start. From
Right.
6 till 15 or 16, by the time they come to class 10 high school time, right? You will
Mm.
know if that's their strength or not. Try them in a couple of things. I'm not saying try them in 10 different things.
Yeah.
Give them a couple of options, maybe a cricket and a football, or maybe a volleyball and swimming, maybe a skating or something. Try them with, or arts for that matter. See if they're good. By the time they come
Yeah.
to class 10, if they're good enough, just ensure when they are studying from between at the age of 6 to go on, just ensure
Mm.
you also teach them how to do parallel tasking. That means I can
Mm.
concentrate on my extracurricular activities. At the same time, I can focus on my studying as well. That's the
Right.
support that we need. So give them the time enough to get acquainted to the
Mm.
sport and also learn the knowledge of the education and manage them
Right.
both ways. When the
Yeah.
pressure is not too much, then the kids will start expressing their love towards both. We have some great
Mm.
examples, people who've been some great academics, also some great sportsters, right? So great athletes and
Mm.
stuff. So but then that is until the parents push starts. That's where the actual tantrum comes in. The conundrum after that is that
Yeah.
the kids will start getting a little lazy. What I've seen, right? So
Mm-hmm.
especially not I don't mean to offend any of you. The current generation kids, right? So the attention span is very very little. That means
Mm-hmm.
they get bored quite soon. They're like
Right.
not something, okay, they want to give it a try. They fail once, okay, we'll try again. They fail twice, they don't want to try again. They're like once or twice, that's it, I'm moving on. So that's where the
Yeah.
problem lies. If you don't get selected or if you don't make it, it's okay. Keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. That's where you keep going. The only thing I would say is probably the bottom line is that don't quit. If you're
Mm.
quitting, just quit for a very legitimate reason, not because you failed once or twice. Those just because you failed once or twice, there could also be a reason why you failed because of yourself.
Right.
If you failed, probably that's because of yourself. So you keep that up, just keep pushing
Mm.
yourself, just keep learning everything, getting better every day is also another thing. Just don't lose
Mm.
hope where, okay, I couldn't cut it out today, so I'm not going to do it tomorrow. Don't do that. Keep moving on,
Mm.
keep doing it. I think that's the best way to start off, Rishma.
So, from your social media account, it is evident that you are an avid traveler. So, which are your
Yes,
top three destinations from all the countries that you have visited so far?
I've done about
Yeah.
6 so far. Other than that,
Okay.
I've done a lot of pan India as well.
Mm-hmm.
From the ones that I visited, Malaysia comes number one. Malaysia, I love
Mm-hmm.
Malaysia,
Mm.
especially Penang and the Langkawi Islands. Beautiful places. So
Okay.
if you haven't been there, please to plan yourself.
Yes.
And number two is Sri Lanka. I loved Sri Lanka as well. Sri Lanka, I've been there a couple of times already. Beautiful, another beautiful island.
Okay.
And then Thailand is another gorgeous country. Amazing, amazing place.
Okay.
Yeah. Good thing is that it's just a very, for me, I'm a very big fan of Asian countries. I
Okay.
love the Asian part of the world a lot, right? Unfortunately, 2020 had four more destinations travel planned that day,
Plan.
that particular year, thanks to COVID-19. So everything fell
Okay.
into,
So, do you have
fell out of the
any
box.
plan to visit in the near future? Any countries in the near future?
Hopefully, 2023, I'm planning. Hopefully, yes. My top chart
Okay.
is Vietnam. That's one country I really want to visit. I've been planning for almost 3, 4 years now. And
Okay.
then after that, I want to do probably. I was just thinking about Tanzania.
Okay.
So Tanzania is another. It's one of the African countries as well. Another beautiful,
Yes.
which is a mix of culture, and maybe I think Indonesia.
Indonesia. Okay. Great.
Indonesia, because my wife has been pestering to travel to Bali. So I think probably that, I guess.
Yeah, that is one thing that I wanted to know whether you would, go solo, like without the family or with the family.
Reshma, this is going to be on air, so I think I really don't want my wife to look at this and just come back and just because you may not see me like me again. So it's okay. I think no. I mean, I mean, my wife loves traveling as well. Unfortunately, I and
Yeah.
her we've traveled quite a bit. But as we have a younger one now, we have about 2.5-year-old daughter.
So we know that, you know, I mean, you've mentioned that you've started acting. So when did you make your debut in acting? And also, what was your Bollywood experience like?
Oh wow. Okay. So before I tell you my experience, I need to tell you why I became an actor. And
Okay.
that's a very short one. Okay. I'll tell you
Okay.
why. My mother wanted me to become an actor, and she wanted me to start acting. I
Mm,
think probably since I was in I think class 10, I guess, since for more than 20 years
okay.
now. She's been
Okay.
pestering me. So, apparently, she saw somebody on television back in the day, and she felt you know these moms, right? They're like, okay, fine. I think my son is also looking good. He's a good looking guy. Why can't he do the acting if somebody else can? And so she comes and says, hey, you know what? You should act. I saw this guy. I think you are better. Go ahead and do it. So I told my mother one thing. Hey, mom, I know, ma. I mean, it's not that. The couple two things that are missing here. One, the kind of money what he got to be produced into, right? Because the kind of
Yeah.
money that got invested into a cinema. So that's one of the
Mhm.
reasons why I can't act at the moment. Number two, most important factor, you also need to know how to act, which I didn't know at the time.
Okay.
So there were a couple of, I think almost 10, 12 years ago, I got a couple of offers to do in television serials, but I couldn't make it because there was a lot of long schedule. I'm talking about 30, 40
Mm,
days of long schedules and stuff, which I couldn't take a break from my work because I also was working at the time. So I said,
yeah.
no, you know what? I think I rather continue working and
Mm,
not focus on the television
mm.
also. What became a thought into a decision making process is during the COVID time. In
Okay.
2020, all lockdown and stuff, so I was alone. My wife was carrying; she was at my in-laws' place, and one of the days I was just watching one movie on Amazon Prime, which I fell
Mhm.
in love with. It's just a comedy genre. It's just a very comedy drama. The whole movie is about 2 hours with a cast of only 6 people that happens just within a house. A beautifully done
Okay.
movie. That's when I thought, okay, fine. I think cinema is something different. That's when I gave it a thought. Okay, you know what? My mom has been pestering me for a very long time. Now,
Yeah.
I think cinema can be done really something good. And I'm a guy who says, you know what? It's I know for a fact it's not that I want to become a hero. At least let me become a good actor first, because I've always been inspired by the likes of Bhuban Irani, Rangayana Raghu of Kannada cinema industry, Achyut
Mhm.
Kumar, and so on and so forth. So I rather just work on this, become a good actor first, and then maybe take forward from there on. So I
Mm.
looked up for a lot of acting schools. I took an acting school in something called G Academy. It's here in
Okay.
Bengaluru. So I learned
Okay.
my acting for about almost close to a year, about 8, 9 months there. And
Mhm.
yeah, from there on, I got into a movie, worked with a good director called
Mhm.
Chandrasekhar Bandyappa. He's given another good big hit movie in Kannada called Rathavara. So I worked with
Mhm.
him. So good opportunity, and came out of the audition. I went and gave the audition. I was not so confident that I would get it, but I was surprised when my academy called me and said, "Hey, you know what, Arjun? Congratulations, you've got selected." I didn't believe at the time until I saw an
Wow.
actual official poster released with my picture on it, saying that, hey, congratulations, Arjun Gowda, for being selected into this
Okay.
particular movie, along with Chandrasekhar Bandyappa, who's the director. And the lead in this movie is Kishore, if you
Okay.
must know, Kantara
Mm-hmm.
Kishore. So if you
Okay.
watch movie Kantara, the police officer Kishore, he's the one
Mm-hmm.
who's the lead. And I've done a
Mm-hmm.
small role. It's a crime thriller Hindi movie, my first Bollywood
Okay.
movie, and
Wow.
the experience was awesome. Was
Okay.
awesome. Sometimes it was quite nerve-wracking as well because 17 hours, 16 hours shoot some days,
Okay.
and I think one
Okay.
of the days it also went for 27 hours straight.
Oh
So
my.
that's the kind of nerve-wracking shooting it was. So we are hoping
Okay.
to really the movie's get set. Hopefully, it's set to be released by February. It's called
Mm-hmm.
Red Collar. That's the name of the
Okay.
movie. So please do watch when it's out. So I've
Yes.
done a very small role, very
Yes.
important role as well. So it's a great movie coming out quite well. So hopefully many more to come. And there is another project with the same director, hopefully by March
Okay.
next year.
Wow, that's great. And all the best to you, Arjun, for the
Thank
success
you.
of the
Thank
movie.
you, Reshma.
So, viewers, we have come to the end of this conversation, and we just have one more question for Arjun. So, Arjun, what would be your message to the Gen Zers who are at the crossroads of their career?
Beautiful question. I don't know if I'm the right person to say this because
Yes, you are.
I'm I'm
You
not
are a
I'm not
great
that
mentor.
a great mentor. I think that's a thank you so much. That's a huge responsibility for me. But then I think I still have a lot of age to cover before I start handing out messaging to people, especially the young ones. Reshma, I'm still young. Just the gray beard and all just makes people feel that okay. But yeah, I think just I'm just going to try and keep it simple, right? So beat any
So,
generation for that
viewers,
matter.
Arjun is very young, okay? So, don't mistake him for being old and having that salt and pepper look. So,
Yes, please.
he's very
Just don't
young.
go by what Reshma said. Yeah, I'm quite young as well. Just the salt and pepper, just making me look a little older comparatively. That's it. Too much stress of by doing too many things. That's it. So
Yeah.
yes, let's come back to the question. Yes. So I think the most important messaging today, rather the most important aspect that a lot of people are losing out on is Reshma. That I feel personally is that they get bored quite soon. I think I mentioned this earlier as well.
Hmm.
Don't. The attention span is very very short. The problem today is there are way too many distractions as compared to what it used to be in the past. You
Yes.
can be here this second and you can just be at somewhere else in the next 5 or 6 seconds, right? So that's how
Yeah.
quickly one can get distracted. So that's where your mental stability, mental ability comes into the picture, where you stay focused, you stay working, you put your head down, you make up your mind. I really do not
Yeah.
want to give up on this. I'll only give up when every single ounce of me has tried everything that I can do and I couldn't make it. And that's the time I put my
Mm.
head down and say, I've done it, I've tried it, I'm good with it, I can't do this
Wow.
anymore.
What a beautiful answer that was.
Uh,
What a
Thank
beautiful.
you. I think that's what's the most important point is, right? So don't give up,
Yeah.
because it's not too late to start either. Because you take me as an example, right? So as I said earlier, I'm over 30. When I say I'm
Mm.
young, I'm not like I'm just 16 either. So I'm over 30, and I picked up acting classes when I was towards the end of. I'm almost 40 in the
Mm.
next couple of years. So I just picked up my acting classes just about a year and a half ago. So it was not too late.
Mm.
If I can make up my mind to learn something new, it's all about learning.
Mm.
Keep evaluating yourself. You learn more. You're understanding something new every single day. You keep learning something new every single day. That's not just about the ability to know more. It's about the ability to grow yourself as an individual as well. Your intellectuality, you as a human, you as an
Yeah.
individual, you as a team player, a family member, a lot of things. So keep up the
Mm.
work. Don't give up. As I said, the day you give up, that's the day you should know that you've tried every single thing that you could. So that's my message, and
Wow.
good luck to you
Mm.
all out there.
That was a great message to end this podcast with, Arjun. Thank you, Arjun, for taking out your time to come to the show and share your story and life experiences with us. We wish to see you again in the future, and do come to our show to take us through your achievements as well as failures. That is only if you're comfortable to share that with us. We hope that you liked being on this show.
Oh yeah, I loved it, Reshma. First of all, thank you for having me. I think a man or a woman is nothing without failures, right? Just as much as success, they both are really really equally important. So, I really really thank you and the Aam Aadmi podcast team for having me here. It was a great conversation. Thanks for just keeping it real, keeping it fun. And hopefully, you and your team and your boss agree to have me here sometime in the future. So hopefully, I can come back with some more discussions with you all. And looking forward to talk to you again. Thank you.
Of course, Arjun. Thank you so much. And viewers, you stay tuned for more exciting episodes that would follow. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you, Reshma. Bye bye.